Hello everyone, Marill here, and today I've got something interesting for you. So this is my counting application for shiny hunting. This is version 1. There is a Linux distribution currently available for on my GitHub, which I will link in the description. Basically, I did a poll the other day, and I wanted to see, well, do other people want to use this, or should I leave it for myself and just use it on my own? And there was a fair amount of people who wanted to see what this was and if they could actually use it. So I'm going to go into what it is and kind of how it works. And, well, part of it is also going to be where I'm going. So firstly is why I came up with this. So for most shiny hunting purposes, people use DCSB, which is Death Counter and Soundboard. And it's a good application, but it's not really built for multi-hunting. So if you're single hunting, it works well. Double hunting is kind of rough because you have to manage files and have 2 instances, and there's a lot that kind of gets annoying. And the bigger reason I built it is because Death Counter and Soundboard is not available on Linux. It is a Windows exclusive program, as far as I know, and I could not find a counting application for shiny hunting on Linux. So I built one in Python and made it an application. So here, the basic function of this is you can have a bunch of text documents, and then those text documents, when I hit run, it will display their numbers. And then the basic function is 1 is tied to the first one, 2 is tied to the second one. Actually, let me show you. 3 is tied, 3 is down to the fourth one, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 are the hotkeys. 1 is adding this one, 2 is adding this one, 3 is subtracting this one, and 4 is subtracting this one. At the moment, the incremental value is the same for both of them, but that is something I'm working on. So I guess I should show you. If I go to Blacephalon and Stack Attack, which are one of my current hunts, we can go ahead and hit 1, and 1 will happen, and we can hit 2, and 2 will happen. So, whoops. I think that was, yeah, that was those. Okay. So yeah, that's what's going on. It's a really simple application. I do have some stuff. I guess I can go ahead and show you. Let me open this in terminal real quick. Because, oops, not properties. I'm going to show you kind of where I'm headed with it. Like I said, at the moment, version 1.00 is available on GitHub, which I will link below. It's a Linux distribution for now, but hopefully by the time this video comes out, I will have a Windows distribution ready to go. And if necessary, I can make a Mac distribution. It's just going to take me more time because I've got to set up my Mac virtual machine again. So if someone needs it, I can do a Mac release as well. So let me show you what is going on. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I've been working on since I released version 1. Let's do Python 3. So this is working version 2.0. Well, there's a couple of things I want to bet. It defaults none so that you don't have presets here. So, and it only does TXT documents. So you notice in that last one, it did it got everything in the current working directory, which is okay, but it's not the best because we don't really want everything in the current working directory. So this gets all the text documents within the current working directory. And I forgot to mention that it also checks to see if there's already text in these. So this one doesn't have a number as the first character. So it's not going to work because we don't want to override whatever's in that file. So we're going to say, hey, choose a different file because we don't want to override whatever's in that one. That's just in case you accidentally click something wrong. And I also have tied a second incremental value. So now they can be separate. So we can set 1 to 3 and 1 to 4. So this is more, we can change their values depending on what we're hunting and how many we're hunting at a time. I would kind of like to set up 4 of them and have a couple more. We could do this, though, separate, and then we could do 1. You can see it goes up by 3. 2 goes up by that, and then those go down by that amount. The other thing here is the create file button. So I had some people beta test it, and they were like, you know, it's kind of annoying to have to go in and create a file and do everything. So I added a button that lets you create a file to it. So we can go in and we can do a new file, and then we can give it a number. And then it will output a new file, and if we select these, we can see new file in the options. The other thing is this does a few checks. So if a file already exists, we can't do it. And notice I didn't add the TXT to it because the program automatically adds .txt to it so that you don't have to deal with that. And actually, I'll show you, if I add a period, it's not going to work because the value I inputted is invalid. Oop, I just found an error code. I forgot to create a delete function for that, so ignore that. But yeah, so actually, let me just open a new window so that you can see this. So if we add not a number here, well, first of all, if I do this, you're going to see the inputs are invalid. Let me move this back, right? But then if we do a special character and a number, the values are invalid. If I put a letter here and an actual name here, the values are invalid. So this checks for all of your special characters in the file name. So none of the special characters work. Only letters work. And then this checks to make sure this is actually an integer. So we can't just have letters being our numbers because then that would mess with everything else. So it does all those checks. I do need to go in and create a function to erase that. I forgot to do it. So not theoretically, there shouldn't be something for that, but I should. Just in case you want to add multiple files at once. And then this, I thought about making an automatic close button, but I figured, you know, when you're done with it, you can just close out of it. The next big thing to kind of experiment with would be obviously adding more, potentially, but the biggest thing is adding a hotkey button, because right now the hotkeys are set. In fact, let me show you the code. I can show you exactly where the hotkeys are determined. So if you look at the bottom right here, this is where the hotkeys are determined. So it's literally look for this key and execute a function once that key is pressed. So it's pretty raw. So essentially what I need to do is, if I wanted you to be able to choose your own hotkeys, I would need to get this value and I'd need to say, okay, if you choose this letter, you do this one with this. So it's a lot of code to actually program hotkeys. So that's why that may eventually happen, but not at the moment. Also, this video is getting long, so I'm going to say this has been kind of what the program is, where it's at, and where it's going to go in the future. I'll probably release this as version 2 without, because it doesn't have any major problems. So I should be able to release version 2 pretty much right after this. I just have to rewrite it. I just have to add a change log and rewrite my my files. So that's good. So anyways, yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to use this, my GitHub link will be in the description below. I'll have a Windows and Linux distribution ready to go. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.